Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Dorotea, and in this video I want to share with you about my miracle pregnancy story. Maybe this could be an encouragement for you. Just a little bit about myself. I have two kids, two under two, a girl and a boy, and everything started on January 1st when we had an extended family gathering, and we were just sharing our plans and our thoughts of going maybe to Europe, travel a little bit with the two kids we have right now, and later maybe having more kids, because I love kids. Little did I know that one day later, on January 2nd, I'll find out I'm pregnant. This was a huge surprise for me, but a pleasant surprise, because I always see kids as a blessing. I didn't see it as a burden at all. The only thing is I didn't plan it. I didn't plan for it, but it happened, so I was really happy about it. 5 weeks later, at the first ultrasound, we found out we're having twins, identical twins. What does that mean? There's two types of twins, fraternal twins and identical twins. Fraternal twins are when two eggs with two sperms meet together and there's two different babies. Like one can be blue eye, one can be darker hair, lighter hair, and stuff like that. But for us, it's identical twins. Identical twins is then when one egg and one sperm splits very quickly into two identical babies. We were really amazed and shocked and honestly so happy, because I've always thought God gives twins to special people. This is what I've always said to all my friends and everybody, that like only special people can have twins. And then when I found that I'm having twins, I'm like, oh God, you think I'm that special to give me twins? I'm so honored, thank you so much. Then I realized I'm gonna be having 4 kids under 4. Our daughter is just 3 years old. I actually have the video of my reaction right here.
So much. All right, you guys, you're having twins.
Is that a joke?
No. Yes,
Wow.
there's 2 heartbeats. So this is baby 1 in its own little gestational sac, and then when you go here, this is baby 2.
Oh, wow.
That means they're.
I was so shocked and so amazed, but also very excited and happy. The most surprising thing for me was the fact that I didn't even plan for this pregnancy. Because with the other 2, I really wanted them close together and stuff like that. But this pregnancy was a huge surprise, and then also like a double surprise, being twins. I had several ultrasounds scheduled for 13 weeks, 17 weeks, 21 weeks. And I decided to cancel the 13-week and the 17-week just because I knew some people who had ultrasounds pretty early on, and because the baby's not very developed, they were scaring them, like saying, oh, I think the baby has Down syndrome or stuff like that, which usually the signs disappear after 20 weeks. So I just didn't want to be scared or like find out something that might not be accurate. So I decided to cancel the 13 and the 17-week appointment and keep only the 21 appointment. One interesting thing that happened at 11 weeks pregnant is we were in Mexico on our family trip, and the last morning of our vacation, at noon we were supposed to fly back, but in the morning I just couldn't sleep. I woke up at 5 a.m. and I said, okay, if the kids are sleeping, my husband is sleeping, I'm gonna go watch sunrise. And while I was watching the sunrise, a lady came in out of nowhere. She said it's her first morning in the resort, and she just started talking to me, and I told her, we're expecting twins and I'm super excited, can't wait to find out the gender and stuff like that. And she's like, oh wow, this is so amazing. Can I pray for you? And I said, of course, I would love you to pray for me. And she had like one of the most powerful prayers I've ever heard. Like I was raised in a Christian family, but this prayer seemed so powerful. The way like she was reciting verses of the Bible and like blessing these kids in my belly, that was so nice, and I felt so encouraged by that. Little did I know that when I went back into the room, my husband is like, what happened to you? Why are you bleeding? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are... And he said, yeah, I noticed during the night you were bleeding. So yeah, when I checked, I was bleeding actually. And that was so scary, but at the same time, I had so much peace. Like I didn't even know I was bleeding, And the lady on the beach prayed for me. And I felt such a peace. I told, like, I'm not worried. I don't know why, but I'm not worried. I think everything is okay. So we flew back in. We had the next day appointment. Doctor said everything looks good. Fast forward, at 19 weeks, my belly grew so much. I had so much pain. And I was telling my husband, I feel like something's weird. Why is my belly so big? And they were always saying, oh, because you're having twins, of course. Like, it's supposed to grow bigger. But I knew something was wrong because I know how a pregnancy is supposed to go. That was at 19 weeks. And I had my ultrasound scheduled for 21 weeks to find out the gender. And at 21 weeks, we got the worst news possible. So they found out that baby A had 13 centimeters of water, even though the baby was tiny, 1 pound baby. It's like a baby in a huge pool, while baby B had barely 1 centimeter of water. And this is called TTTS, twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome. After the MFM doctor came in and she explained what she saw in the pictures, we got really sad and discouraged. She quickly referred us to OHSU, a big hospital in Portland, the closest bigger city to us. The next morning we were already there. The doctor also assessed the situation and gave us 4 options. First option was to abort both the babies. Second option was to abort one of the babies. Third option was to do the laser treatment, which had only 60% chance that both babies can survive. The laser treatment is when they split the placenta because there are some veins that go from one baby to the other, and baby A was eating all the nutrients and was stealing the nutrients for baby B. That's why baby A had so much more water than baby B. So they said we can do the surgery, but it's pretty complicated on my situation because my placenta was in the front. And they said all the risks and everything, and we were really scared to do that. But of course, if that would have been necessary, we would do it. And the fourth option was to wait 2-3 more days and see how the situation goes. Both babies had bladder at that moment, at that appointment, and they said this is only stage 1. So if in 2 days it goes to stage 2 or worse, we're gonna have to do the surgery. If it stays the same, we can keep monitoring until we'll see what's going on. So we, of course, chose the option 4 because that was the only option that would work for us at the moment. We already knew how much we love these babies, these girls. We couldn't even imagine losing one or both of them. When we found out the problem, we texted all our friends. I texted my home church back in Europe. My husband texted our church here, and we asked everybody to pray for our babies. And we knew that people all over the world are praying for us because we have friends and relatives all over the world. We felt those prayers. We definitely felt them. So they kept monitoring me every other day, every 2 days or every other day sometimes. At the end of the week, I get a call from my clinic, and the MFM doctor says, would you be able to please come to the clinic because we would like to check you. I was like, no, thank you. I was already seen a few times at OHSU. I don't think this is necessary. And she's like, they were checking your babies, but I would like to check you. I went to the appointment, and the doctor, which only met me once and talked to me 5 minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, she said, I couldn't sleep during the night. I was thinking of you for some reason. And in the morning, I decided to come to work, check all your papers, called the other hospital you are seen at, and I was asking everybody, have you checked the mom, not just the babies, the mom? Did you check her? And everybody was saying, no, we didn't check her. So that's why she decided to call me a few times to ask me to come to the appointment. And when she checked me, I was open, dilated. And my doctor said that things don't look very well. You're already open. We have to do something as soon as possible, or you might give birth in a few days. That was so scary because my belly was so big. It was actually bigger than how I was with my first daughter at 41 and a half weeks. Because I was measuring every morning and my belly was huge. And I think probably my body thought it's already time to give birth. We scheduled the surgery, the cerclage. Honestly, I felt so blessed, and I just couldn't believe that this person, this doctor who doesn't know me, it was like God put the thought in her mind to think of me during the night. I felt like God was taking care of me. He had a plan with these girls. I had the surgery on Sunday, and then on Monday morning, when we went to the appointment at OHSU next day after the surgery, they couldn't find the bladder for baby B. That meant automatically that the TTTS went to stage 2, and that meant we're supposed to do the surgery. In that moment, when they couldn't find the bladder for like 15-20 minutes, I started crying so badly. I was praying and crying out to God. I'm like, God, I'm so scared of this surgery. And it's so interesting, they called the other doctor to start getting me ready for the surgery and looking how they can do it safely. And 5 minutes later, 7 minutes later, after they were talking and planning the surgery, I look at the monitor and I see a bladder in baby B. So it appeared in a few minutes. And I'm telling the doctor, I see the bladder. Can you see the bladder? And he's like, yes, I see it. We burst into tears. My husband and I, we were both there like crying of happiness because that was a miracle. The bladder just appeared. And that meant we're still at stage 1 and we don't need a surgery yet. They kept monitoring us every other day, and in 4 weeks, the water from baby B went from 0.8 to 2 centimeters, but baby A kept having 14 centimeters of water. That's a lot. So now, even though we're considered to not have TTTS anymore, the doctor still kept thinking that we need an amnioreduction. Amnioreduction is when they take water out of the sac of the baby who has more water. So we were actually so scared to do that because there were risks to that surgery too. So after thinking about it, we decided not to do it. The doctors warned us. They said, if you don't remove the water, just be prepared that your water might break and you can go into labor. And we decided to take that risk. And another miracle that happened, and all these doctors were really shocked about it, is that the fluid levels in both sacs went from 14 and 1 to 3 and 3, back to normal. And the doctors can't explain this. This has never happened before. They've never seen any cases of that. And we know for sure that only God could do that. My doctor said she even called her colleagues that studied with her. Now they live in different states and nobody has ever encountered such situations. And we know for sure that's only God. God did this miracle. Of course, they kept monitoring me. I was 29 weeks and 5 days, and the doctor said, we think one baby's in distress. You need to go to the hospital for more monitoring. We went to the hospital and they said, this doesn't look good. We need to keep you here and you're probably gonna give birth soon. I was so scared and not prepared. I knew everything was going fine. I didn't understand why are they making such a big deal out of it. They gave me the first dose of steroid shot. They kept monitoring me to see if there's a need of an emergency C-section. I was really sad. I didn't want to stay in the hospital. I was pretty sure everything looks good. Everything is okay with the babies, but they told us, if you go home and something happens to you, you have a lot of risks to lose one or both of the babies. Or also, if you decide to go home, your insurance might not cover if anything happens, because I go against the doctor's order. So I decided to stay at the hospital. They were monitoring me every few hours, and they kept seeing that one of the babies not doing very well. At 31 weeks and 6 days, after a big drop in one of the baby's heart rate, they said we shouldn't wait anymore and just have the C-section as soon as possible. I just couldn't wrap my mind around the idea of having the baby so soon. I knew they're so tiny, so tiny. But my husband also agreed with the doctors that better safe than sorry. So they started getting me ready for the surgery. I was so scared because I didn't even get the chance to get the second dose of steroid shots, which helps usually 48 hours after you get it. But they were scheduling the C-section in a few hours. So we got the steroid shot, but we knew it's only like 4 or 5 hours. So my husband was sitting next to me and he was crying out to God and saying, Lord, please make it work like it's been 48 hours since you got it. They also started me on magnesium and they were taking me to the operating room. In that moment, I was really, really shaking. Like my entire body was shaking. When I entered into the operating room, I don't know how to explain it. It felt like a huge waterfall of peace was falling upon me. I felt so much peace. I knew that's coming from God because I knew people all over the world were praying for me, specifically for this C-section and for the babies. I was reciting out loud Bible verses. I was singing on the operating table and just like had so much hope that everything would go well. My husband was holding my hand and the surgery went very well, praise God. Even though my babies are still in the NICU, they're doing great. I'm there with them most of my day. I only come home at noon to spend some time with my kids while the girls are in the NICU sleeping. I just wanted to share this because this might be an encouragement for you. These are all God's miracle. I didn't do anything to get pregnant, to have twins. God allowed TTTS and He resolved it. The most surprising thing was that the doctor that was thinking of me during the night and she was calling me to check on me, she also came to be at my birth even though she was not supposed to. It was 12 a.m. She came to be there. She was FaceTiming me on the way. The craziest thing is when she looked at my placenta after I gave birth, she said that all the areas that were supposed to be lasered, from which baby A was stealing from baby B, were already closed. It looked like there was already the laser surgery done, even though it didn't happen. So we know it's the hand of God. We know He did it. I'm sharing this story, even though it's so personal, I'm sharing it just because I know this might be an encouragement for you. God is all powerful. He can do miracles. If He gives you kids and babies, they're a blessing and He will take care of you and the babies. And He'll give you strength and He'll give you everything you need to take care of them and to raise them. So God bless you and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.